Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Elden Ring, PS5, review. Here be dragons. What is it? Absurdly difficult. Is it good? It hates you and it wants you dead, but maybe you're into that sort of thing. Who should play it? That one guest who survived the Red Wedding, then said to themselves, well, that was fun. One ring to rule them all. For a certain corner of the internet, the news that George R.R. Martin and Hidetaka Miyazaki were joining forces was like several Christmases landing at once. Martin, who probably needs no introduction, is the acclaimed author and generously bearded creator of Game of Thrones, a sadistic, brutal Tolkienesque fantasy that gave rise to a hit TV series. Hidetaka Miyazaki, for his part, is the acclaimed designer and creator of Dark Souls, a sadistic, brutal Tolkienesque fantasy that gave rise to a hit video game series. The pairing of these two creators isn't quite the pop culture singularity as, say, David Lynch teaming up with Werner Herzog, but for a fairly large swath of sadomasochistic fandom, their new video game collaboration is the most anticipated event of the season. I'm here to tell you that the resulting product does exactly what you expect it to do, for good or for ill. An exceedingly difficult Soulslike, it hews so closely to the formula established by its predecessors you could slap a Dark Souls 4 or Bloodborne 2 on it and nobody could tell the difference. That's fine, I mean, there's a reason why these games are so popular, but after 13 years of losing sleep over this cruelly difficult series, my patience is starting to wear thin. My OCTOPUS Teacher Dark Souls had the cursed. Bloodborne had the hunters. Has the Tarnished. You play as a Tarnished, a warrior summoned to the lands between to track down the great runes, and restore the Elden Ring. Who are the Tarnished? What are the great runes? Is there tengwar inscribed on that ring? Honestly, 50 hours later and I still don't have a firm grasp on it. And not just because I skipped a lot of the optional bosses. If there's one thing I've learned from Miyazaki games, it's that optional bosses are for the masochists banned from the masochists club for being too hardcore, but because is deeply inscrutable. That's a bit surprising given Martin's reputation as a storyteller, but it's par for the course in a series known for its opaqueness. Unfortunately, that opaqueness also bleeds into other aspects of the game, ones which really should have been refined given how long this Soulsborne series has been around. Try as I might. For example, I could never figure out how to get the co-op summoning system to work. I similarly struggled with the game's many ill-explained mechanics. Early on, I unknowingly loaded up on skills my character couldn't use, and, no exaggeration, it took me until the 15th hour to understand how to counterattack. In most other ways, Elden Ring plays like its predecessors. You're a big, lumbering soldier, or samurai, or mage, or any one of a dozen other classes, slowly swinging your sword and firing off magic and learning to perfect your timing to land critical strikes. Foes are a mix of human characters, knights, pitchfork-wielding villagers, that sort of thing, and a bestiary's worth of fantasy creatures, including, in what must surely be an in-joke for Martin and Miyazaki fans, somewhere in the neighborhood of all of the dragons. I was also heartened to discover that, like Sekiro before it, Elden Ring somewhat departs from the horror-infused aspects of the Souls Bloodborne titles. Yes, there are zombies and trolls and Harryhausen-style skeletons. But a lot of the enemies are more grounded, with a particular emphasis on supersized wildlife. You'll encounter giant dogs, jellyfish, rats, crabs, bats, and so much more, including my personal favorite, the land octopus. It's unfortunate, however, that a lot of these enemies are so poorly rendered. Even as Elden Ring's environments benefit from the PS5's increased processing power, a shocking number of character models, especially the larger enemies, are disappointingly low resolution. The giant bears in particular could have been lifted from a picosecond 2 game. King of the North. Following a distractingly robust character creation process, you can spend hours in this thing, sets you free to do pretty well whatever you want. No, really. Previous Soulslikes have been quasi-open world, in the sense that you could travel to different parts of the map, but ultimately you'd be funneled towards a specific boss fight that progressed the story. I spent my first couple days simply wandering the vast expanses of the lands between, taking on only those foes I chose to confront, checking out intriguing locales, and activating sites of grace, the equivalent of Souls bonfires, for fast travel use later. For as long as